Hey everybody, welcome back to Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across the UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today I'm joined by a familiar guest. Hi Ahmed.
Hello, how you doing?
Good to see you. So Ahmed was previously on my show because he's founder of Khosouf Studios, all about gaming, all about everything to do with kind of gamification. And he has a really cool news story to talk to us about today. I want to hear all about kind of glitch core, bringing in kind of gamification, gaming with AI. Please tell me what that's all about and let's get started.
Okay, so the long story short is why Glitchcore was created was because I alhamdulillah after being in this business for quite a while, I start to realize the problems that we're having in the creation process, in what people want, in the games, and all over the workflow of how to create a game. And I just realized that we're taking ourselves a little too seriously. And that's why I'm like, okay, listen, like, what is a game in the end? It's a game. It's something you play, you enjoy. Of course, there's context, there's story, and all that sort of stuff. But the reality of the market is that if you're not big enough, no one cares about the story that you're going to tell. Honestly speaking, like this is just pure how the market operates. So what you need to do is touch up on the part that they can relate to without them having trust in your brand, which is the fun. Because if your game is fun in the first 1 to 5 minutes, then the player will get engaged and they will get attached to your product. But if you have a strong brand like Hideo Kojima or something like that, some
Mhm.
people play the game for like 5 hours before the fun begins and they're okay with it. So
Right.
that's what I mean with I was taking myself a little too seriously in the design process, assuming that the players are going to have faith in my brand or me as a director to get to the fun part of the game. Just like any movie you watch. Some movies are fun from the first minute, some movies are fun after 30 minutes,
Of course.
but in game terms, it's usually first few hours until you get to the fun. So that's why I'm like, I just took one of those weekends and I'm like, I'm gonna do a new project, which is a very dangerous thing to do as a developer, because you might end up making 20 projects and never finishing any of them. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to make a very simple concept that is a first-person shooter. Everyone understands it. Everyone knows how to grab the mouse and just click shoot over the controller. I'm like, I want to do something simple, fun, straight to the point. So, first-person shooter, that was the genre I decided on. And one interesting factor that I've added to counter the brand building conflict, let's call it, is the game basically right now the game starts within like 10 seconds, the gameplay, the fun part. And how am I able to sustain that? Because if you just burn out all of your stuff in the first 10 seconds, then what else do you have?
Right.
To counter that, I mixed the first person shooter genre with another genre called roguelite. If you're not familiar with the term, roguelites are basically the games where every time you lose, you go back to the beginning
Okay.
of the game, fully, like the beginning of the game. That's the concept of roguelites. The only difference is that the game is designed in a way where every time you play it, it basically redesigns itself so you can have a different experience.
Mm.
Whether it's different enemies, different weapons, different environments, different interactions. Every time you lose, you go back to the beginning, and then the game redesigns itself, and you go through another, we call them runs. You go through in your run, you enjoy it, you have fun, you play, you lose, you go back to the beginning. So it plays on the feeling of like there's always something new, and you don't have to wait to get it. It's just a matter of keep trying until you get familiar with the system, until you become better so you can finish more of the game.
Right.
That is what this roguelite concept is. And it clicks with me so well because I'm the type of person that, well, as you can tell from the studio, it's chaotic. Like
Yeah.
there's a million things everywhere. So even me as a developer, my personality does prefer that little surge of like, I don't know what's gonna happen. The beauty in this design, the roguelite design, is that you see how like the game redesigns itself? It
Hmm.
redesigns itself based on my design methods, so even I don't know what's gonna happen when I test the game 1,000 times, which is a normal part of any game developer's life, to test the game thousands, if not millions of times. It's
Fair.
insane. Yeah. So that's why, like, I countered the problem where I get bored while developing a game, and solved the problem of the player getting bored while playing my game, and allowed the players to, go into this game with zero faith in me, and gain that faith in such a quick momentum.
I love that.
Yeah, so first person shooter, roguelite, and finally the subject, which is the mix of AI into this game's concept, is. Should I spoil the story? What do you think?
If you want to, you can go ahead. You can say what you
Yeah,
want.
sure, why not? The whole idea is that, like, listen, the story is not even that serious. That's the whole point. So
Okay.
basically, the story is that, like, in the future, AI is deemed too dangerous to be operated on Earth.
Well,
So the entire AI operation has been moved to the moon, away from Earth completely. So, like, AI has become illegal on Earth. But what's happening on this moon base that is fully occupied by AI, there are AI soldiers, and you are one of them. These,
okay.
these AI soldiers, just like machine learning, they go into simulations and they learn how to do something. That's how machine learning works now in real life. Like, if you've seen this NVIDIA robot, for example, that they showed in one of the conventions, there's a tiny little robot similar to the Star Wars ones. I think it is from Star
Hmm.
Wars, and it walks on the stage and does a couple of moves and whatnot, and then walks off. The concept of this robot walking on stage and doing whatever and coming out is simple in principle, but what happened to that robot is how it learned how to walk and do any of these interactions was not through the traditional methods. It did something called machine learning, where basically the brain of that robot learns how to walk through millions of years of simulations
Hmm.
to understand how to do something. How does a couple of million years pass? It's because the same brain is running thousands of simulations at the same time, so every second is 1,000 seconds because it's a split brain into multiple endless simulations to come up with the end result of how to walk. So the idea is that, like, I just took that and basically be like, okay, you are the AI agent or soldier. You're going into these simulations, endless simulations that are redesigned every time you enter them, and you are simply learning how to become a better soldier in combat. But you understand, that's the spoiler part, and the mid or end of the story, you realize that these were not really simulations, and the AI mother core was actually sending you onto Earth to actually go on real missions and defeat humans. So
Wow.
yeah, it's as simple as that. And the glitch concept comes from the fact that, like, in the game you'll realize that the entire environment is glitched out. When you shoot someone, their body becomes just glitched, and it's the way of the core AI hiding the truth of what you're doing. Because if you know, like, AI is very hard to it's very hard to manipulate AI's processing power. You can't just tell it do something and it does it. You have to convince it to a certain extent. So
So,
if this AI is smart enough to have a conscience, you have to trick its conscience by not telling it that you're actually destroying humans. And that's what the AI is doing to the AI that is you.
so what's your message here? Why did you choose now to create this type of storyline?
It's fun, honestly. It's just simply like, again, I don't need to take myself too seriously because that
Profound
that doesn't
response.
end
Yeah.
well. Yeah, just this whole project is all about, like, let's go to the fun part. Like, fun story, fun concept, everything. And the cherry on top, by the way, which I think you might be interested in as well. The What I learned in my career in virtual reality, which I've been doing for close to 10 years now, I can't believe it, is that one of the main problems with VR is something that I call friction.
Hmm.
Friction between the technology or the experience, the game, and the user. Do you have a headset? That's friction. Are you in the mood to put the headset? That's friction. Are you willing to play a game on your own? That's friction as well. So this glitch core, the concept is, let's remove all friction. And how did I do that? That's another level of it. Is we introduced something that most game developers have completely ditched in the many years that's passed. It's split screen co-op.
Ah,
If
okay.
you remember the old school games where you can actually play with your, like, your family, brother, sister, whatever it is,
Right.
and you sit on the couch. It's called couch co-op. You sit on the couch and the screen splits. Your top, their bottom, and you just enjoy the game together. We hardly see these type of games anymore.
I didn't
So
know that.
we applied that on this game as well. So you can create a clone, and that clone is player two, and you go through the journey together.
Oh, I see. But I didn't realize that. Like, what is there a reason that that kind of stops it happening that way with this whole split screen
They
approach?
just went with online because online makes more money.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, I didn't realize that. That's actually very interesting to know. Okay.
Yeah. Like, there's hardly any split screen games anymore.
Wow. Okay, so you brought in kind of an older, more traditional method of gamification into this, as well as the idea of kind of human versus robot, so to speak. And at the same time, you've done
You're
something
robot versus human because you're the robot, you
robot versus human. Robot versus human. Okay,
Humans are not the good guys in this story, I'll be honest with you.
fair enough.
And
And
they deserve it.
that's also fair. How long did it take for you to develop this?
The prototype took maybe like 3, 4 days. But then, of course, the polishing and everything and all that sort of stuff, it's about a year. We're into it 1 year now.
Wow.
And we're about, I would classify us as like 60, 70% completed. So within a few months, we will enter the beta stage where we can have people play the game, without too much public release.
Right.
Once everything is settled, all good to go, do some marketing and throw it in the market.
And how many projects have you now completed up to this point now?
Uh, Close to 26?
So this is number 26.
Approximately, because if you account for the customer-based products, yes, it's 26. But international releases, this would be the second release.
Wow. So what target markets do you have internationally?
Based on our last time because it was a VR game, Box to the Beat, the VR rhythm game. It
Mhm.
did really well in the States and Europe. It did horribly here, and obviously it's because almost no one has a VR headset.
Fair.
See, like how did that pass me? I have no clue. But sometimes when you're so tunnel visioned on your grand scheme of things, you
Yeah.
forget the most obvious stuff. So, so right now, like this game is targeted very broadly, honestly speaking. And I know this is actually one of the biggest mistakes that developers do. You shouldn't make a game that's broad and applicable to everyone, because that broad doesn't exist. But what you can do is lower the barriers of entry. So, for example, the age rating of the game is not going to be very high. Maybe it's going to be like, I don't know, 12 plus, which, contains no, well, maybe some cursing. I'm thinking about that, but no extra blood and gore, no nudity and all that sort of stuff that increase your age rating and lower your market. So that's what I mean. It's a broad audience. So we designed the game to be applicable to be played by, well, almost anyone who enjoys a shooter game.
I see. And what would you say is something that kind of surprised you or something that you learned in the process that you didn't anticipate?
See, that's the beauty in this game. I tried my absolute best to not venture into the unknown. I'm like, okay, I have enough experience, and I was always stuck in this cycle of like, because I love to learn, you know what I mean? Like, especially in this industry, I enjoy, breaking the boundaries and doing something new completely. But then I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I torturing myself? Can you
Reinventing.
do something that you already know how to do? And that's the idea of glitchcore. Like, yeah, of course, it was challenging in some parts, but in comparison to the other games we've made, it's a walk in the park. But the,
Oh,
the thing is, like the other games, most of these challenges that we went through were not really does not affect the customer. The customer doesn't care. Did you struggle while making this product or not? Maybe 5% of players care, and high chance that those players are not gonna even buy your game.
mhm.
You know what I mean? So no, no. At the end of the day, it's just treat it as a game. You don't need to break so many boundaries while designing the most complex code in the universe. Just step back. Don't take yourself too seriously. Make a fun game. Have fun with it. Let everyone have fun with it, and don't spend 8 years making it because that's what's happening in my other game.
Fair enough. Well, I think that's a nice segue into kind of the last bit of the interview today, Ahmed. So you kind of touched a little bit on the importance of having fun and creating these games and to kind of not take it too seriously. Is there anything else that you want the listeners to know today about your game?
Just the fact that I'm very proud to say that this is our studio is one of the very, very, very few studios that actually do the development in-house fully, and the publishing as well. So we have like the partnership with PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and all that sort of stuff. We have the dev kits, which are these devices used to port your game and run it on their console. And if you saw like the latest news that I put on LinkedIn, where like, hey, the game is now you can wishlist it on the PlayStation Store. This was all done on this computer right here. I was like, okay, done. Graphics, art, click, go.
Amazing.
While 95%, if not more, of the studios currently in the Middle East have to rely on a publisher,
Mm.
where they contact another company in the States, for example, and that company takes 40 to 70% of the profits, by the way. It's insane.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, 40 to 70% of the profits. That's what the publishers take. And what they do is put your game on the PlayStation and all that sorts of platforms because they know that you can't. So I'm breaking the boundaries still, but in other areas. It doesn't have to be in the code. So now I'm focusing more on like the product itself and thinking of it as more of a serious business because we one of the most awesome news that we have achieved recently is that we got a nice investment, alhamdulillah, from Mirat Capital in Saudi.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So alhamdulillah, it's an investment of $600,000. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, alhamdulillah. So based on the history of what we've done, and inshallah, like the high possibility of inshallah making it in the future, they saw faith in our vision. We discussed it for like a long time, which is good because the due diligence is a good process, and you know that the partner is healthy and they know what they're talking about. And now the next step is opening in Riyadh, by the way.
I love
Oh
that.
yeah,
That's
that's gonna happen very soon. So if anyone's in Riyadh and you want to see how a game is getting made, just drop by. Not now, because there's nothing now, but very soon.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Ahmed, for sharing your story today. Congratulations on all these amazing achievements. You're doing so well. You're really breaking barriers, as you've said. And honestly, I can't wait to see what else you have in store with Khosouf Studios.
Thanks so much for having me.